So, challenger brands, they may have a fantastic product, they've got some budget, they haven't maybe got as many customer testimonials as you've just referenced in the last question. But how should they approach Meta ads differently, being a challenger brand, if they want to build both brand awareness and ultimately get sales? So, what's your perspective on this, please?
If you're a challenger brand coming into the market and you don't have many testimonials, the first thing I usually suggest is like look at the testimonials of your closest competitors. And I know brands hate it when I say that. I can literally see the frustration in their face when I tell them this. And I do completely understand that. But really, it's about, like I said, moving the conversation away from you as the brand, what you think the value is, to understanding what the customer is experiencing in terms of value. So even if you are a challenger brand and you're doing things slightly differently, there's still going to be another brand within your niche that does something similar enough to you that it's worthwhile you going and looking at their customer testimonials. Because, if your cleaner, I don't know, is an enzyme cleaner and theirs isn't an enzyme cleaner, sure, that's a really different feature of the product. And that's not to say that we need to ignore that, because we shouldn't, but we can still look at cleaning brands out there and what were customers' experiences of cleaning brands, that we can tap into. So is it, my house doesn't smell anymore? Is it, I'm not embarrassed by those stains on the carpet? Is it, I want my house to smell like Marks and Spencers? I don't know. Whatever it is kind of the feature differences in the products don't change the end customer experience or what they wanted, the problems they were trying to move away from, the outcomes they were trying to get towards, the transformations that they were seeking. So if you are a challenger brand, I know it's painful, but go and have a look at some of your competitors, and take a look at, your biggest competitor with the biggest review set, and do some digging around in there to try and understand from a category or a niche perspective, what are the customers' experiences.
Thank you.
And then in terms of what you asked about awareness versus conversion, this can be really challenging, because if we have to really educate people on our product before they're going to buy, if we're that much of a challenger brand that our product needs some explanation or some education, Meta can be an extremely challenging platform to do that, because it's quite expensive. It's expensive to get yourself out there. And so if you need to educate people before getting them to buy, you're going to see quite expensive cost per acquisitions there. There are ways that we can do that, absolutely, by thinking about it from like a content perspective. So there are different levels of awareness in any kind of typical classic marketing view, which is like completely unaware. The user isn't even aware that they've got the problem. And then you have your problem aware people who know they've got a problem, but they don't know how to solve it. Then you've got solution aware people who understand the problem they've got. They know roughly the solution that they need. Then you've got the product aware people who know the problem and the solution, and they're aware of your product. And then you've got the most aware people where, yeah, you're basically just trying to convince them to choose you. So at each of those different stages of the funnel, you really want to have different messaging. So, if you're trying to get to those bottom of funnel warm audiences who are product aware, give them a really juicy incentive. Remove barriers by showing how many 5-star reviews you've got. Give them something trust building there to show that they can trust to buy from you. Now, that message wouldn't work for someone who is solution aware, because they don't know that this product is going to solve the problem that they've got. So you telling them that you've got hundreds of 5-star reviews and you're going to give them a 20% discount is irrelevant, because they're not at that awareness understanding yet of, this is the product that's going to solve the painful problem that I've got. So it's really important that you think about those different parts of like awareness funnel and tailor your content to those things. So if you want to come in and do a bit of brand awareness activity and a bit of conversion activity, your conversion activity, you want to be chasing those people who are more solution aware and product aware, with the types of messaging that give incentives and build trust and break down purchase barriers. If you want to raise brand awareness, then you want to be going way, way, way up in that funnel and go more towards like the problem aware people. So maybe you're then talking a bit more about, sick of your house smelling like dog. Gosh, we get it. And did you know that enzymes can help, like enzyme cleaners can help with this, or whatever it is. You have to kind of do a bit of that education piece, and you can't always make that huge jump from like problem aware to buy our product. Sometimes you can, and you should absolutely always be testing that, especially if it's a low average order value product. And so the barriers to conversion aren't as high. Those messages can still work really, really well in conversion, but I guess maybe it's more for the completely unaware people that don't even necessarily know they've got a problem, and they definitely don't know there's a solution, and they definitely don't know that you're a brand that can solve that problem. that type of messaging is never going to work. It's just going to fall on deaf ears. You're not going to stop the scroll, no matter how great your visual is or how great your message is, because it's not relevant to that person. They're just going to scroll straight past. So if you're a challenger brand coming in, that would be what I would think about, is mapping out those different levels of the funnel and thinking about content for those different types. And then when it comes to the techie pressing the buttons bit on paid social, you might want to do like a sales conversion objective for people at that bottom level of awareness or the most aware. And then the people up at the top, you maybe do something like video views objective or like a brand recall lift type of campaign, so that you can just get in front of more audiences and educate them on what it is that you're doing and what you're all about.